Airports, let's be honest, the ultimate test of patience, planning, and trying not to embarrass yourself in front of hundreds of strangers. We've all seen that person running through the terminal with their shoes in one hand, a half-zipped suitcase, and the sheer look of panic as they try to make it to the gate before their plane takes off. I'm here to try to make sure you're never that person. Friends, welcome back to the channel. My name is Gio, and my wife Allie and I talk about all things travel. And in this video, we're going to go over 7 airport mistakes that you should avoid at all costs. These mistakes could cost you time, money, or worse, even your flight. And be sure to stay tuned to the end for the quick hit bonus items, also known as QHBIs.
Don't be that guy. Rule number 1 you want to avoid at the airport is get your head up out of your phone and go with the flow of traffic. You see behind me the moving sidewalk. Make sure you stay to the correct side. I'm in America, so I'm currently on the right side of the moving sidewalk. Take note. Do so on the escalator and even when you're just walking in those big open hallways. And I know it seems simple and easy, but if more people did this at the airport, just went with the flow of traffic and kept their head up and were aware, it would make the experience a little bit more enjoyable. Phone away, get to your gate. Don't be this guy. I'm taking up way too much space. When you go to your gate and you're seated and you're waiting for your plane, try to make yourself smaller. Take up one spot, don't sit in a middle seat, make room for everybody.
Mistake number 2, not confirming your gate before you head off to eat and shop. Allie and I are guilty of this one. Right after security, we will head right to the lounge. Now, if you're not going to a lounge or you don't have any lounge access, that is also a very common airport mistake. Even if you're only flying a few times a year, getting into a lounge via a travel credit card is huge. More on that in the QHBIs.
All right, y'all, TSA right behind me. You get through security and then you go to your gate. Check to see where the plane is taking off from. Common mistake is to go sit down, grab a drink, or go to the lounge, but first thing to do, just scout out your gate. Make sure it's taken off from the right spot. You know how to get there, how long it's going to take to get there.
Of course, remember gates do change, so if you physically check on it and then head off to get a snack or go shopping, it's always a great idea to look up at the flight board as you walk by them just to confirm you are headed in the right direction. A great tip that we have used plenty of times before is when you check into the lounge, ask the attendant how far of a walk it would be to your gate. They are a plethora of knowledge on the airport, and they've given us an exact time to get to certain gates, whether we need to get on a tram or a train or get to a whole new terminal, because really the ultimate goal is to leave the lounge in just enough time as to when you get to your gate, they're calling your group for boarding.
Get your names up!
Mistake number 3 is overpacking your bags. Now, currently we're on a 3-month trip over to Europe, and I took a unreasonably large bag. By far the biggest suitcase I've ever traveled with. And I learned a few things. Number 1, I can fit in this suitcase. Number 2, a luggage scale like this one was essential to have when taking checked bags. Number 3, a 30-inch suitcase should only be used for trips that are longer than 4 weeks. Most of the time, I would travel with this Monos carry-on bag, which is light, slim, and easy to maneuver. And if I can manage it, what I really like to do is just do one bag travel with a single book bag. Now, expert packers know when enough is enough. They don't try to stuff one last thing or what if or maybe items in their bag. I like to pack based on outfits, and I've been told since I'm a male, it's much easier on me, but my wife and I try to both practice this. Look at the weather well beforehand. Try to track exactly what outfits you will need for what days. Don't be afraid to repeat items if you don't feel like you'll get them dirty and you can wear them again. And do a little bit of research on travel laundry. I've done a video on that and I will link it right here up above if you want to check that out. Less is always more when you're packing. If you're not traveling with a bag that you need to check, then you should try to get as much as possible done online. That way, if you have a carry-on that you know fits in the luggage cage, or you have a book bag that you know will pass as something that you can bring on the plane, you're not going to get your bag weighed. It's a rarity that it will be weighed at the gate as long as you fit the size dimensions. So try to get all that done beforehand. And if you are checking a bag or you're someone who likes to travel with a checked bag, then I would highly recommend investing in this very inexpensive luggage scale.
Before we get to the next airport mistake, I'd love to hear about a common airport or travel mistake that you have made, or maybe you see your fellow travelers making. Drop a comment below and let me know what we should be aware of.
Mistake number 4, forgetting to hydrate and eat before your flight. Air travel is dehydrating. It's science.
Inside the plane, It is dry like a desert. You have to pressurize the cabin, so you want to get hydrated before you fly. We love to travel with airborne vitamin C, and then we just drop some in a water before we take off, so now we have a little bit of vitamin C, immune protection, and we stay hydrated. It really helps when you're flying economy and it's over 4 hours.
It cuts down on jet lag and leaves me feel a little bit more energized when I arrive at my new destination. At minimum, we're always making sure our water bottles are full and I have a snack handy on the plane. Airlines are getting more and more stingy on their offerings while on board, and if you encounter turbulence, there's a high chance that the flight attendants have to remain in their seats and you could miss food service all around. Having alcohol is actually a huge disservice while you're traveling. It sets the stage for poor sleep, not feeling well, and dehydration. I know I sound like someone who can really bring the fun. But my advice is to save that for after you arrive at your destination. That way you arrive feeling good and you can set the travel day behind you. Mistake number 5, ignoring the boarding process. I get it, we all want to get on the plane and get settled. But this is where I encourage a little bit of patience and a little bit of kindness. Ignoring the boarding groups and crowding the gate isn't helpful for anyone. In fact, did you know there was a name for this? It's called gate lice, and you don't want to be gate lice. Let this be your warning that more and more airlines are catching on to this, and they're actually putting in sirens or alarm systems if you try to go ahead or skip a boarding group. Hello.
Good afternoon, sir. We're boarding group 2, you're group 18.
I don't know about you, but I would like to avoid that moment at all costs.
As you can see behind me, they've called group 1, and everybody flocks to the gate. So just be patient. We're all boarding the same plane. If you just make space for everyone else, it makes the boarding process a lot easier.
So play it cool. Wait for your boarding group and don't hover around the gate. A pro tip is to always have your boarding pass and your ID or passport ready to go when you're about to board the plane. And if you don't travel that often, remember, for the most part, you're standing in line and waiting, and then standing in line and waiting to get on the plane. If you're worried about getting on the plane to find overhead bin space, then let's take it back a few tips. Remember, we want to do anything that we can to not overpack.
I'm going to interrupt the video for a quick side question. I feel like the last couple times I've been flying, the gate agents have been very serious about bringing only a personal item and only a carry-on, like lots of really strict announcements. But when I was on the depths of the internet the other day, I was reading that gate agents could be fined up to $10,000 if they don't enforce these rules. That seems ludicrous, even though I know it's serious business not to try to bring more than you're allowed on the plane, but if you have information on this, or you think it's true, I would love to hear about it in the comments below. Next common mistake, you get to your gate and then you just board the plane without thinking, what do I need to get out of my bag that I might be putting in the overhead bin? So for me, it's usually some type of neck pillow, neck brace, or blanket, and then over-ear headphone. For this flight, just traveling with the over-ear headphones, so I'll take these out. This way I'll walk on the plane with this setup. I also love traveling with a waist pack or a sling. This one from TomTalk I featured on the channel before, but I'll have a bunch of little gadgets in here, some chargers, earbuds, maybe some Dramamine, but anything that I might need in the plane. So just take 2 minutes before boarding and make sure you have everything that you want for the flight. Here is the rule being broken in action. This traveler was up 3 to 4 times to take things out of the overhead area, which slowed down the entire boarding process. So make sure you have all your items before you get on the plane.
And finally, mistake number 7, luggage carousel courtesy.
Nothing like an overnight flight. We are whooped. The last airport rule you don't want to break is overcrowding the luggage carousel. Lucky for us, there's not many people here. You don't want to be that person that stands there and blocks everybody else. Give people space. Look for your bag from the outside. And the pro tip is you should have your bags tracked like we did with the air tags. Then you'll always know where they are. Gonna interrupt this mistakes video for one thing. We're out here getting the Uber. The guy texted us, will be 25 minutes. So I gotta cancel the ride, but they're gonna charge us 20 euros. Asked him, can he cancel? He said he can't do that. Am I being scammed? I don't know. You tell me in the comments. We stayed calm. He eventually canceled the ride, and we have a new ride coming. We weren't charged 20 euros, but it feels like a scam. Spain.
Time for the quick hit bonus items. This one I've never understood, but when the plane lands and you hear that ding for the seatbelt sign to come off, please don't jump up and edge your way 6 to 12 inches forward. We're all trying to get off the plane. I totally understand hopping up, stretching your legs, opening the overhead bin and getting your bags down. But for the people that are elbowing their way through to the front of the plane, I really hope there's an emergency. This one happens before you even get to the airport. We love using a tool called Daily Drop Pro. This is a great tool for searching for flights or hotels for points and or cash. because when you save some money on the travel, you can spend it a little bit more in your destination. Next up is signing up for Booked It on Points, which I'm a little bit biased, but is my wife's travel newsletter. She talks about points and miles and how to stay savvy as a traveler while saving money and going to unique and incredible destinations. I'll put the link in the description. This is another one that happens well before your trip. You should sign up for a travel credit card if traveling is something that you enjoy. We have gotten some amazing bonuses and perks from using some of these travel cards. Last but certainly not least is to be courteous in the airport. Some people are extremely nervous travelers, and if you are well-abled or not handicapped, then save some of those front gate seats for those people. Try to help someone if they need assistance, or if somebody seems nervous or lost. See if there's any way that you can help. The airport can be a very weird place, so a smile and a helping hand from a fellow traveler can go a long way. If you enjoyed this video, I think you'll really like this one, where I break down 1-star travel products. It is way more entertaining than the current video, and I'm sure will leave you with a laugh. Or this video, where I talk about 10 things that experienced travelers never pack. I'll leave those up on the screen for a few seconds so you can decide which one to watch. In the meantime, if you hit the like and subscribe button as a small creator, that would mean a ton. Thank you so much for watching.